Today we're tying a parachute green drake pattern. We're going to start off with a TMC number 10 100. We're going to use some 6/0 black uni thread. Start that right behind the eye of the hook. We're going to make a nice thread base all the way back to past the barb, just a hair, a couple thread lengths past the barb. First thing we're going to do is we're going to tie in some mousse for the tail. This is going to add really good flotation. So we'll make a snip off the hide, grab the tips, pull all the under hair out. Put that in our handy dandy hair stacker. Those tips even. That hair is. We want the tail to be about the same length as the shank of the hook, so I'll hold it up, kind of judge, change hands, and wrap that hair right on the hook shank. I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to move it forward over the top of that hair to help increase floatability for this fly. Snip off our tag ends, take the thread back. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to tie in a biot body. I've got some darker olive biot here. Because it's a bigger fly, we're going to try to go for as big a piece of biot as we can. I'm going to take that biot and I'm going to tie it in with the concave side facing up. When I work with biots, it makes an awesome segmentation, but they tend to be a little bit on the fragile side. So I'll take just the tiniest amount of Zap-A-Gap. I'll just lay a tiny little bead across the top there. Now I'm going to grab my biot with a pair of hackle pliers. So because these flies are so big, you might have to use more than one, as is the case right here, quickly unfolding. Let's try that again. Reach in, grab another one. Again, concave side facing up. Try to keep the materials and equipment in the hand. So now we've got kind of a cool segmented type body. The next thing I'm going to do is tie in the wing. I've got 3 or 4 CDC feathers, dark olive colored, use a little bit of dun as well, all kind of gathered by the tips so that the tips are basically even. Now I'm going to measure the wing out to the size of the body, kind of like the tail. I'm going to change hands. Tie that CDC in. So now I've got this wing that's kind of sticking up into the back. Just going to take my thread and wrap up the CDC stems up a short distance. So now I have kind of a posted parachute post. Again, I'm going to reach over and grab my Zap-A-Gap Just going to make a small little touch there. So what that basically does is that stiffens up the post, gives it a little bit of opportunity to have something rigid to tie your hackle against. So now we've got the wing, the body, and the tail all together. I'm going to take some darker olive dry fly dubbing. And then I'm going to take a grizzly, dark olive grizzly dyed rooster hackle. I'm going to tie that in cup side down, facing towards the hook shank. Now, once that's tied in, I'm going to wrap up my thorax. And as you can see, I'm just kind of straddling that wing, building up a little bit more bulk there for the thorax than for the tail. I'm going to take my hackle. I'm going to start the parachuting process. I usually wind up 3 or 4 times. And you can adjust the hackle level for the waters that you fish. Sometimes, you might be finding them in flatter water. For around here, we tend to find them in a little bit bigger water, so a little bit more hackle tends to be the call. So we just drop that rooster hackle down along the eye. So I'll get a couple wraps on there, and then I'll just kind of move all those fibers out of the way just to consolidate it. Make sure that you're not going to lose your thread. Snipped off my tag of hackle there. I'm going to build up just a small black head. Finish that off with a couple half hitches, whip finish, whatever you like to do. There's your completed parachute CDC wing green drake, high floater, good fish catcher.